Hi, I'm Doug,
And I'm Alex.
and we are Indiana State University Occupational Therapy Master's students. To start out this video, we'd like to just mention to those that don't know what exactly occupational therapy is. Occupational therapy is the use of assessments and treatment to develop, recover, or maintain the daily living and work skills of people with physical, mental, or a cognitive disorder.
So the reason we're making this video is for individuals living with left neglect or hemispatial inattention. We'll explain exactly what that is in a little bit. And basically we just want to go through some compensatory strategies or like alternative ways to complete a meal preparation.
So before we get started, we'd like to go over just some learning objectives. The first learning objective is to understand multiple compensatory strategy opportunities that are possible in order to complete a meal preparation steps.
The next one is to observe and comprehend steps necessary to complete a grocery list, grocery shopping, and the meal preparation.
The next one is to establish training techniques for anchoring, scanning, and patching for both caregivers and the clients.
And then the next one is to develop an organized meal preparation plan through repetition and visual schedules.
Our final learning objective is to understand proper use of visual cues and scheduling during meal preparation completion. All right, for this video, we've created a case study. And in our case study, our client's name is Sheila. We're going to tell you a little bit about Sheila and her background. Sheila is a 57-year-old widow who enjoys cooking, knitting, and WWE. She used to live on her own, but is currently in assisted living due to her recent stroke, living with her visual perceptual disorder, which is hemispatial inattention. She used to live on her own with her cats. She plans to return back to her home after discharge. Sheila wants to learn compensatory strategies to perform meal preparation so that she is able to throw WWE dinner parties on Wednesday nights.
So a little bit about hemispatial inattention, also called left neglect. It's an attention disorder that prevents a patient from attending to the stimuli on one side, and typically it's on the left side of the body. So in Sheila's case, she had a stroke, and the visual field of her left eye the left field is gone, and same thing on her right eye. So she can't see a lot of things without scanning or like repetitive tasks, that kind of thing. So the steps that we want to go through with Sheila to help her with her meal preparation for WWE dinner parties would be to find a recipe, making a grocery list and organizing that grocery list, grocery shopping and meal preparation, and then to cook it and then to eat it with her friends. So for the next part of our video, we're going to talk about compensatory strategies that someone with left neglect might use for their everyday life, not necessarily just meal preparation, but so our first one would be anchoring or scanning. So anchoring is a verbal or a visual cue that starts on the left side. So you put like a picture on a wall or a shelf, or if you're reading something like on the left side of the page, and it would remind that person they have to look at that picture first before they scan to the next side or to the next wall. And then on the other side of the wall would be another picture or a number, just something that would get them to remember this is my beginning point and this is my end point. So for the next one, it's called eccentric viewing training. So this is where you would educate your client on what their scotoma is or what their blind spots are. So a scotoma is a blurry hole in your vision. So sometimes it's hard for them to realize where that hole is in their vision and how to compensate for that. So you would start by identifying where that is. So you could look at a grid and say, oh, I can't see right here. And then you would learn how to compensate where if you had to move your head to see straight ahead. And you would start with large, static or not moving objects. And then you would move to smaller and moving objects to help them learn how to scan and view appropriately for their scotoma or their blind spot.
All right, so the next one is organization Organization can be used not just in this situation, but for a number of different clients and diagnoses. But for this instance, we're thinking about the kitchen. So keeping kitchen utensils in just one spot so that the individual knows where to go to get certain utensils in preparation for a meal. Also having multiple commonly used objects or necessities that the client uses frequently. Having multiples of those can also prove to be helpful. And then lastly, just to have large labels on the objects or the utensils that they use frequently can help great. And that all goes within the organization strategy. The next one is patching, meaning patching like a visual field of one's eye. For this scenario, for this case study, patching the right visual field of each eye can help force the eye to use the weaker side, the weaker left side, in order to strengthen and regain voluntary control over the deficit. Moving on to just a visual schedule, and that kind of tells you what it is within the name. These are used to stay organized. They're a visual aid, and they have expectations for future tasks. So a visual schedule can help the client know what's expected of them that day or different tasks that may need to be completed. They can refer to that schedule, and it can help them get through a number of different tasks.
And then the last one is what Doug and I are going to be using mainly today for the meal preparation, which is called task-specific activities combined with scanning. So basically just using a task, so this case cooking or meal preparation, and involving scanning or anchoring with it. So that's what we're going to be showing you guys later. For the next portion of our video, we're going to be talking about how we would show a client or how someone with left neglect would search through a magazine, their cabinets, and then how they would make a list for before they go to the grocery store. So basically, the best thing to do for in like a book would be to either have on each side of the book an anchor, like we talked about in the compensatory strategies, like a picture on each side, just to help them like scan the full page and look through the recipes. So in this case, this is not a recipe book, but just an example. On each side, we did a 1 over here and a 1 over here to tell them to scan from 1 to 1 and then 2 to 2 all the way down the page. And then a similar concept can be used when you move into the cabinet, like by the cabinets and that kind of.
All right, I'm here with Sheila, our client, who again has left neglect. Because of that, I'm seated here on her right side so that when I speak, she has to turn her head so that she is able to see me and help her hear me as well. If I was sat on her left, she wouldn't be able to do that. So what we're going to do with Sheila is teach her how to scan, and in this case, it's going to be for a recipe so that we can move towards that meal preparation and having that good meal on Wednesday nights for WWE. So right now, Sheila, what I would like you to do is notice the 1 on this side of the page. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're going to scan across to the other 1 on the right side of the page. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you see this 2 here?
Yeah.
Okay, and then scan across to the 2, and then the numbers go down the page, so we scan from 3 to 3 to 4 to 4, and that enables Sheila to read what's on the page, and in this case, we want Sheila to find a good recipe. So I'll give you a minute to do that, Sheila.
Okay. I want this one. Let's make pasta.
Okay, what's included in that pasta?
It looks like noodles, mushrooms, broccoli, and then I guess we can do whatever sauce we want.
What kind of sauce would you like?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, so we could do a marinara sauce or an Alfredo sauce.
Let's do Alfredo.
Alfredo? Good deal. All right, so now we have our recipe. We are ready to first look in our cabinets and see what we have for that recipe. And if we don't have what we need, we're going to the store.
For the next portion of our video, Doug is going to play the OT like before, and I'm going to be Sheila, and we're going to search his fridge and cabinet for the items that we need for the store to make sure we don't already have it before we go. So the method that we're going to be using is called the lighthouse method, and basically it uses a picture of a lighthouse, like we talked about with scanning and anchoring, where you'll have something on your left-hand side to know that that's your beginning. And in this case, it's a picture of a lighthouse. And like lighthouses do, they scan the water, or they show boats that they're there, whatever. But like, you'll also have your client do that. So you'll tell them to pretend they're a lighthouse, start at the lighthouse, scan the fridge, in this case, to the other anchor, which are, in this case, numbers 1 and 2. So we will do that.
Alright, to begin this portion of the video, we're first going to check out this visual schedule, Sheila. What I'd like you to do is take a look at this, if you're able, and then look at it to see what steps we have done and what is the next step.
So we looked for recipes. We can put that down.
Okay.
And next, we're going to check the cabinets.
Alright.
For ingredients.
Correct. Just a little close-up of this. She's correct. The next step that we're going to do is to check the cabinets. So we're here in Sheila's kitchen, and what we have done is placed a lighthouse at the beginning of the fridge inside the door. And using a lighthouse is a form of scanning, and it enables the client to start at a specific spot and then use that scanning technique that we discussed earlier to scan for different items, for words. It just would be dependent on the situation. So, Sheila, we're going to have you start at this lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see the lighthouse?
Yeah.
Okay, and what we're going to do is you're going to scan the fridge at this level to this 1.
Okay.
Okay, so wait. We're also going to scan back to the lighthouse, and then scan to this 2.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, do you have any questions?
Nope.
All right, Sheila. And then when you find ingredients in the fridge that we can
Bloody
use...
Mary mix.
Sheila.
Not
We're
that.
sorry about this. Sheila, what are we making? Do you remember?
Pasta.
Pasta. Okay.
I see mushrooms.
Okay.
Yes, we can use those.
We can use those. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, here's the 1.
Okay, scan back.
Alright. Oh, is this little tight?
This would be a good time to build rapport with your client. Getting to know them is great, but it's not a bad thing for them to get to know you as well. Sheila, here we have my cute nephew, Luke.
Oh.
This is also a picture of my family, my other nephew, Cole, and this is the 2 of them on Santa's lap.
So cute.
Okay. All right. What I'd like you to do is scan back to the lighthouse.
Got it.
Very good. And then scan to the 2 and check for those ingredients.
Not seeing anything else except for cheese, maybe.
Exactly. So we have cheese. Are you able to get the cheese?
Yeah. Which one? We'll use Parmesan.
Perfect. All right. So now Sheila has scanned the fridge for the different recipes, or for the different ingredients that we could include in our recipe. And now we're going to make a list of what we have and then what we need to get at the store. Okay, continuing on, we're here with Sheila. What we're going to do now, Sheila, is again check our visual schedule to make sure that we can stay on task and we know what's next. So what is next? What are we doing?
So we checked the cabinet for ingredients.
Okay.
And it looks like making a grocery list is next.
Perfect. So we're sat here at the kitchen table, ready to make that grocery list. Can you remember and repeat back to me what ingredients we're going to be using for this meal?
So we need noodles, mushrooms, broccoli, and pasta sauce, which we decided on Alfredo.
On Alfredo. Perfect. I'm looking forward to that meal. So let's first clump together each ingredient. So let's start with vegetables, and then you can write those down. And here we have, again, a scanning technique for writing as well, just as before with reading and then checking the cabinets. We're going to start at the 1 and then write down the ingredient, going side to side to the other one, and then down the page.
Like we did here.
Sheila, does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so let's start with the vegetables and start on the 1.
So we need mushrooms, but we found it in the fridge. So
Okay.
do I not write it down?
What do you think?
Probably not.
Okay.
So broccoli.
Broccoli?
Never spell that one right.
It is a tough one, Sheila. All right, and what is the next ingredient that we need?
Noodles.
Can you say noodles in your best WWE impression?
Noodles.
Can you give me a little arm action?
Noodles.
Very good. All right, and what's the next step or next ingredient?
The sauce. So Alfredo. I don't know how to spell that either.
Okay, so we have mushrooms already. Did we have anything else?
We had cheese, so we don't need to get that either.
Okay, is there anything else that you think that we need to make this meal?
Well, we need wine, but I don't think...
Sheila.
No wine.
Okay.
I'll cross it off.
All right. So, I think Sheila has everything that we need. She's done a great job so far about using the visual schedule. She was able to scan the recipe book to find a great recipe, and then she used the lighthouse and the scanning technique to scan the refrigerator to see what ingredients we had here in order to make her meal. And now, after sitting down and writing down the ingredients that we need to get at the store, we are going to head over to the store and get those ingredients, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay, so here we are at Kroger, and we're gonna show our portion of our video of how I would scan at a distracting environment like this. So we're gonna use more of like a verbal cue situation where Doug will tell me, being Sheila, where to start scanning and where to start looking for these ingredients. So first we're gonna start in the produce section.
All right, here we are in the produce section of Kroger, and what we're going to have Sheila do is start at a particular spot in the produce section and then have her scan to the right to find the broccoli.
So start here?
Correct.
Okay.
Good, Sheila, and then scan across. All right, Sheila, go ahead and go down to the lower level, the next level down, and then scan.
Not seeing it.
Can you remind me what you're looking for?
Broccoli.
Okay.
Should I do this one now?
Yeah, go ahead and go down to the next level.
What are these?
I don't know. Good, Sheila. All right, we found the broccoli.
How much do we need?
How much do you think we need? Remember who you're having the dinner for?
Yeah, you eat a lot, don't you? So we need to
Am I invited to WWE night?
Everyone's invited to WWE.
Is Jeannie invited?
Of course.
All right, Sheila, we're gonna walk to go get some pasta. So let's go up here and we're gonna take a left up here. Sheila. Sheila. Sheila.
Yes. I told you I wanted wine.
This is not where the pasta is, Sheila. All right, Sheila, we're here in an aisle, and using the scanning method that we have earlier this evening, we're going to use an anchor, being the price tag at the beginning of each row, to anchor at the beginning and then scan across.
Okay.
So find the kind of pasta that you would like.
Not seeing anything. Wait. Bow ties? Look at the little bow ties.
Is that the kind of pasta you would like?
Yeah, they're my favorite.
All right, perfect.
Perfect for WWE.
Awesome. All right, go ahead and put it into the... All right, Sheila, we're going to use the same scanning method using the anchor at the beginning of the row, and now you're going to find a sauce, an Alfredo sauce.
Haha, found one.
Alfredo, is that the kind you'd like?
Yep.
All right. All right, Sheila, we're just gonna make sure we have everything we need in our basket.
Okay.
So look down and scan across, and Sheila?
We got it. We got it all.
Sheila, what is that?
Wine.
That was not on our list, Sheila.
Oops. Now that we're back from Kroger, Doug and I are now going to do our actual meal preparation. So first we wanted to talk about this cutting board that we brought. So this is used for people who sometimes have difficulty using one of their hands, or difficulty like stabilizing while they're cutting something. While Sheila doesn't necessarily have that issue, just more like a safety issue with her vision, just in case she can't see part of it, and it's just easier if it's stabilized by itself. So it also has suction cups on the bottom, so it won't move on her. So we'll be using that to cut the broccoli and the mushrooms for the meal prep.
All right, what we're going to do next, Sheila, is use this cutting board to cut some broccoli and some mushrooms for the sauce for our meal. So I want to begin with making sure that you know how to use this cutting board to cut the broccoli.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is tear off a piece of broccoli like so. You can see that right there. And then we're going to place this piece of broccoli on these two sharp kind of spokes right there in the middle of the cutting board.
Yeah.
And then you're going to take the knife. You can go ahead and take that. And then you're going to cut the broccoli into pieces.
Use the stems.
Would you like to use the stems?
I don't know. Do you like the stems?
No.
Okay. We will use the stems.
Okay.
Alright, so
So we
I put
can
the
throw those
next
out?
guy on.
Yep.
I guess I can. There are some pieces.
During this time, it's just important that the client uses just good safety when using a sharp object and having a visual impairment. We want to make sure that we really monitor their the procedure itself and make sure that during it that they are safe.
I like this cutting board.
It is a really cool cutting board. You're doing a great job. How much broccoli do you want? Do you want to use the whole flower?
Maybe not all of it, but a little
Okay.
more.
Okay.
need greens to watch WWE, Doug.
It helps that Sheila is right-handed and that we position this board for her to be able to cut on the right, so she is still getting that stimuli on the right side of her body, which is really kind of what we're hoping to get.
Okay, this will be my last one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, very good.
Put it in the bowl.
Yep.
All right. Broccoli. Good.
All right, we have the broccoli. Okay. The next thing that we're going to prepare are the mushrooms. We're going to use the cutting board just like we did with the broccoli. We're going to take a mushroom. We're going to place it on the sharp spokes, and then go ahead and pick up the knife and then use it to cut the mushrooms. Very good. And I'll let you be the judge on how many mushrooms you want in the sauce. Just remember to be careful with that knife.
No, Doug. We could be having a glass of wine while we're making this meal, but you wouldn't let me buy it.
You sure tried hard in Kroger to buy that wine.
I did. You kept catching me.
I just want to make sure we stay on task and focus on the meal prep.
I think that's good.
Okay, is that good?
Yeah.
All right. So we have the mushrooms and the broccoli all cut up. Sheila's putting it in the bowl so that it's all ready to put into our sauce or on top of the pasta, whatever she decides on later. And so I think we're about ready to move on to what step do you think is next?
We should probably cook these.
Probably cook those?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. So we're back in the kitchen, and we're going to use the anchoring with the lighthouse again. So the dog's going to have me, Sheila, look at the lighthouse to scan through these cabinets up top to the one that's over there. Yep, you can see it. And then back to the lighthouse, and then down to the bottom cabinet where there is a 2. You can see that guy down there. So, yeah, we're going to do that, and I'm going to find the pot and the pan for meal prep.
Okay, Sheila, it's time to kind of begin preparing our meal. And so what we're going to do is first find a pan and a pot so that we're able to cook our sauce and our vegetables. So using the anchoring system, once again, like Alex said just before, we're going to start at the lighthouse and then scan across to the 1. And then we're going to go down to the 2 and then scan back to the lighthouse so that we cover all that area. So that we're able to find the devices that we need to cook. All right. Do you have any questions, Sheila?
Nope.
Okay.
Start with the cutie and go. All right. What's in here? Seeing some goodies, but no pot and pan. Nothing. All right. Oh. Alrighty. Okay. There's the pan. It's a pot. Ready.
All right. Behind me, we have Sheila preparing her meal. Before Sheila started, I went over with her some of the strategies that would be beneficial during this time to use. In her own kitchen, we would use organization at this point, making sure that the items that Sheila needs to prepare the meal are organized, that they're labeled correctly, that they're in a spot where she can find them. So that would be something that we would assess in her own home and help her strategize and to make sure that those were all where they needed to be and that they were accessible to her to prepare the meal. We'd also I also talked to Sheila about scanning the environment. We want to make sure in the kitchen and really anywhere that the safety is of importance, that we scan the environment for any hazards, flames, any sharp objects. So she is doing that as well. Okay, we're getting to the end of the meal preparation. It's smelling good here in the kitchen. Sheila, what is the next step?
I think I gotta add everything together.
All right, we're gonna have Sheila add everything together to create our concoction here.
Oops.
Again, during this time, as the OT, you want to make sure that safety is being monitored, that Sheila is scanning and making sure that there's no sharp objects, any flames.
All the sauce. You get to eat this, right?
Absolutely. It's looking good. I'm excited.
Do you think that's enough sauce?
You can be the judge. Would you like some more in there?
Let's be honest. Yes, I do.
All right, now that our video is coming to a close, we want to make sure that our learning objectives were addressed. We can go through them again. The first one was to understand multiple compensatory strategies, opportunities that are possible in order to complete a meal preparation step. And we use the scanning and the visual scheduling. We use the lighthouse, which is kind of an element of the scanning. So you could see throughout our meal preparation that we used different kinds of compensatory strategies. Our next learning objective was to observe and comprehend the steps necessary to complete, such as a grocery list, grocery shopping, and meal preparation. So throughout this evening, we've taken it step by step. We started out by kind of learning about the compensatory strategies, and then we had Sheila find a recipe, and then we scanned the kitchen for the ingredients that we had, and then we made a grocery list, and then it was then time to go to the grocery store, and even there we used those different strategies to find the ingredients that we needed to make the meal. We then came back here and we learned about how to use that cutting board that was so useful for Sheila, for a lot of clients really, and it also provided a kind of a safety measure as well. We then went into the kitchen and kind of put all those strategies into place by using the organization and the scanning to make the meal. Another learning objective was to establish training techniques for anchoring, scanning, and patching for caregivers and clients. We did not use the patching strategy. We mainly focused on the anchoring and scanning, and we just discussed how we use those within our meal preparation. Another objective was to develop organized and preparation plans through repetition and visual schedules. Throughout the meal preparation, we referred to that visual schedule so that Sheila could kind of mark off what we had done and then see the next step in the process of a meal preparation. The final objective was to understand proper use of visual cues and scheduling during meal preparation completion. Not just in meal preparation, we also relied on those visual and verbal cues at Kroger so that Sheila was able to find the ingredients she needed and to locate an anchor and to scan across the shelf to find those ingredients. All right, we're here at the kitchen table. We're actually eating what Sheila prepared for us. She did a great job throughout the evening of preparing the meal and following those compensatory strategies that we talked about at the very beginning of the video. And Alex is going to kind of talk about what those are and how they were implemented into the meal preparation.
So we just want to do like an overall review of what all we've tried to teach you today. So starting with the anchoring and scanning. So like we used in the kitchen and on paper and in the grocery store with the verbal cues, just telling your patient or your caregiver, or having your caregiver tell your client where they should start and where they're scanning to and where the end point is. Just helps them be more organized in their scanning so that they're not like rescanning and scanning in weird, obscene ways. So just keeping that organized. And then organization, like Doug talked about earlier while I was cooking, just having everything in a set spot, knowing like where it is. Just that helps to not have to do some of those scanning things for like energy conservation too, since Sheila wasn't the youngest person. And then visual schedule, like I was using. So just knowing like, okay, I'm done with this task, what's the next task I have to do, and knowing how many more tasks until I'm finished, that kind of thing. And then some of the tasks that, or the compensatory strategies that we didn't use in the video but are still really important are the eccentric viewing training, like I said, where you find that preferred retinal locus, so like where the best spot for them to focus is, even if it's not straight ahead where people without a visual deficit would be. And then patching, where you would patch your strong side to gain more voluntary control of your weak side. So for the last part of our video, we are going to go through some questions that we hope that you're able to answer after our video. So the first question is, when working with your loved one who is living with left neglect, what compensatory strategies could you use to complete a meal preparation? And this is also for like someone with left neglect, what compensatory strategies would you use? And name 3.
Are you playing the Jeopardy song in your head? Or is that just me? It's just, okay.
Now it's me.
Were you? Okay. All right, on to the second question. Which devices or which device strategy is not one that you should use when working with your loved one during meal preparation? So the choices there are A, visual schedule, B, modified cutting board, C, bedside commode, or D, picture of a lighthouse. So which one of those would you not use when doing meal preparation?
Okay, question 3. True or false, when patching the eyes of an individual with left neglect, it is important to make sure that the left visual field is the side that is occluded. So, true or false?
Okay. All right, we're moving on to number 4. Which safety techniques are important to watch out for during meal preparation for an individual living with left neglect? A, using a modified cutting board. B, scanning meal prep area for hot surfaces. C, scanning environment for sharp objects. Or D, all of the above.
Okay. The last one is, where should you position yourself when working with someone with left neglect, and why?
All right, we're hoping that you can answer those based off of what we taught you in our video.
So as we're wrapping up our video, we just wanted to kind of just summarize the reason for our video again was just to educate patients and the caregivers with working with someone with left neglect on compensatory strategies for meal preparation. So like we talked about before, the rest fighting recipe, making a list, searching through cabinets and stuff for ingredients, grocery shopping, all those important things, and making sure that those scanning methods and the even the ones we didn't necessarily use, like patching, are important to understand that those are always options, and not just for meal preparation, but for all activities of daily living. So bathing and grooming and all that stuff is very important for these to be used in all those realms.
Okay, we have concluded our video today. We really appreciate you listening and hope that you've learned something. We did try to have a little fun with it, kind of make you laugh from time to time. We think that's definitely important in this process, and when learning about anything, I think that's an important element to add in there. So we really appreciate you watching and taking the time to learn with us. So until next time,
on the Doug and Alex Show.
Sheila is a 57-year-old widow who enjoys cooking, knitting, and WWE. She used to live with her own on